Tommy Dorsey was the kind of man who could make his trombone sound smooth and soft, while the rest of his life was tough and full of problems. He was a coal miner's son, who learned discipline from a stern band director father, then spent the rest of his career demanding that same perfection from everyone around him, including a skinny kid named Frank Sinatra, whose golden voice he both nurtured and tried to own. To see why people still talk about mob godfathers, late-night threats, and a band leader with a gun to his face when they talk about Dorsey, you have to look past the fun, old-time big band image and face the harder parts of his story. It makes you ask tough questions, like what it really costs when one man controls another person's career, how much fear and pressure might have shaped American music, and why the dramatic version people know from The Godfather can sometimes feel more real to them than what can be officially proven. Tommy Dorsey's story doesn't move in a straight line from rags to riches. It loops through coal dust and ballroom spotlights, brotherly loyalty and brotherly betrayal, velvet-smooth melodies and hard-edged decisions that could make even Frank Sinatra feel trapped. His life gives you a rare chance to watch one man stand at the exact crossroads where American working-class discipline and entertainment business ruthlessness all collide inside a trombone player from a Pennsylvania mining town. When you trace how that boy became the sentimental gentleman of swing while quietly controlling singers' contracts, fighting off changing musical fashions, and trying to repair an 18-year family rift on live television, you start to see patterns of power, fear, and survival in the swing era that never show up on glossy nostalgia playlists. Tommy Dorsey was at his peak in the 1940s, a self-made millionaire with the most popular band in the country, and a small empire that he ran from his penthouse offices in New York's Brill Building. Although he was considered by many to be the greatest trombonist alive, music alone was never enough for Dorsey. He was a ferociously competitive businessman, always expanding, always looking to edge out rivals and middlemen. He bought a ballroom, formed music publishing companies and a booking agency, hosted a radio show, launched a music magazine, and kept his own songwriters on staff. Dorsey had seemingly unlimited energy, ego, and ambition. He wanted the biggest and best from life: clothes, bands, boats, women, food, houses. And he wanted people to know he had it. In the glamorous, hyper-competitive world of the big bands, he was the ultimate alpha male. Born Thomas Francis Dorsey Jr. in Shenandoah, Pennsylvania, in 1905, he grew up in a house where music was not a hobby, but a second job his father enforced with almost military precision. The Dorsey brothers learned early that talent meant very little without timing and the ability to do exactly what a band leader demanded, which helps explain why Tommy later became the kind of leader who expected absolute control in return for the opportunities he offered. As teenagers, Tommy and Jimmy, his brother, escaped the mines by discovering that the quickest way out of poverty was to become indispensable as the men who could play anything for anyone. That survival mentality followed them into the Dorsey Brothers Orchestra of the early 1930s, where their polished charts and crisp section work made them favorites for radio and records, just as swing was beginning to crest. But under the surface, the same intensity that pushed them ahead also frayed the partnership. Every missed entrance, every business disagreement carried the weight of two sons who had already seen what happened to men who failed back home. When Tommy finally exploded during a live broadcast in 1935 and walked out, it wasn't just a quarrel, it was a declaration that from now on, he would rather risk going down alone than keep negotiating his identity with his own brother. Taking over the remnants of Joe Hames's band and renaming it the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, he recalibrated himself in public. The volcanic controlling personality stayed behind the scenes, while the world heard only the impossibly smooth trombone of "I'm getting sentimental over you." That contrast between the gentleness of his sound and the sharpness of his business moves became one of the core tensions of his life, and it created an engine for the band's success. Musicians might fear his temper, but they also knew that playing for him meant better arrangements, better halls, and a real shot at the charts. By the late 1930s, he had stacked the band with first-rate players and notched a run of hits like Marie, Song of India, and Boogie Woogie, giving dancers something that felt lush and safe, while the country itself shook with economic and political uncertainty. Frank Sinatra enters the story right at this point of maximum contrast. On the surface, Dorsey gave the young singer exactly what he needed: exposure on network radio, hit recordings, and the stability of a top-tier band behind him night after night. Beneath that, though, the contract that bound Sinatra to Dorsey, stipulating that if Sinatra left Dorsey, he would still have to pay the band leader a third of his earnings for life, shows how fully Tommy had internalized the lesson that the real security in show business lay not just in playing the melody, but in owning the rights to the voice that sang it. The later rumors of mob pressure and godfathers stepping in dramatize something emotionally true about that relationship. That for a while, Sinatra's fate sat in the hands of a man who knew exactly how it felt to claw his way out of a small town and had no intention of giving up leverage. Dorsey eventually released Sinatra from the contract. While Sinatra denied the story, rumors persisted that mobster Willie Moretti intervened, threatening Dorsey to release Sinatra. This situation served as the inspiration for the fictional Johnny Fontane character in Mario Puzo's novel, The Godfather, who uses his mobster connections to get out of a similar contract. The plot point fictionalizes a real-life rumor that Sinatra's mob-connected godfather, Willie Moretti, intervened to get him out of his contract, though Sinatra always denied this, and the real resolution was a legal settlement. Despite their bitter parting, Sinatra would always acknowledge how much he learned from Dorsey. According to Peter J. Levinson's book, what the skinny kid from Hoboken, New Jersey saw in the high-living celebrity bandleader was everything he aspired to be, the entire Sinatra persona. The hard drinking, the arrogance, the fancy clothes, the musical perfectionism, the tough talk, the fistful of hundreds to hand out to old friends, was learned from Dorsey. What makes Dorsey compelling isn't only the power he exercised, but the ways it slipped away from him as the musical world changed. In the mid-1940s, as bebop and rhythm and blues gained ground, his refusal to embrace the new sounds was partly aesthetic taste and partly a defense mechanism. The world he had mastered, tight charts, big ballrooms, disciplined sections, was being replaced by something more chaotic and less controllable. The swing era collapsed at the end of 1946, and so did Dorsey's feeling of invincibility. By 1953, Jimmy Dorsey, who also had led a successful band throughout the swing era, was up against the wall with drinking and money troubles. Tommy put him on salary and revived their 1930s moniker, the Dorsey Brothers Orchestra. Behind all of this, the private Tommy Dorsey struggled with the same appetites and anxieties that haunted many band leaders of his generation. Heavy food, drinking, smoking, and constant travel formed a lifestyle that looked glamorous from the dance floor, but chipped away at his health, culminating in his sudden death in 1956 after choking in his sleep. still a relatively young man at the height of name recognition. That ending underscores a pattern visible throughout his life. He had learned early how to control timing, breath, and phrasing so completely that his trombone seemed to defy human limits. Yet he never fully found a way to impose that same calm order on his own body and relationships. Tommy Dorsey died November 26, 1956, at his home in Greenwich, Connecticut, a week after his 51st birthday. Police confirmed that a note was found in Dorsey's room, addressed to his estranged wife, Janie, but authorities refused to make it public. Some reports from that time suggested the note implied the death might have been a suicide. Both the police and Dorsey's family denied any mystery surrounding his death and dismissed rumors of foul play or suicide. This is David from One Track Jazz. Thanks for listening, and please take a moment to like and subscribe.